3236.
With the power of Tandem HR, you are in the fast lane on Main Street with Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs. Now, the champion of networking, the advocate of jobs, the guru of business, your host, Shalom Klein.
We are all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. In business, we talk a lot about business here. You are on with Get Down to Business, and I'm your host, Shalom Klein. Remember, you can always download podcasts from Get Down to Business on my website at shalomklein.com. And while you are there, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Shalom Klein. It's going to be a jam-packed week of content and information that you will not want to miss. It's a live show. That's right. You could call us at 312-642-5600, 312-642-5600. This week, we'll be joined by guest Dr. Shelley Halper, Nellie Rowland, and Greg Jager. You won't want to miss it. Once again, a live show. Call us, 312-642-5600. Get Down to Business is powered by Tandem HR, your solution center. Give them a call at 630-928-0510, 630-928-0510. That's the phone number for Tandem HR, and their website is tandemhr.com. Trust me, you'll want to get in touch with them. They are our solution center here on Get Down to Business, and I'll be sharing tips on customer service in your small business at the end of the program. So don't touch that dial. You don't want to miss a minute of it. You're listening to Get Down to Business, the show that's all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. And I'm thrilled to be joined here in studio by Dr. Shelley Halper, who is the founder, the boss of the Dermatology Associates of LaGrange. Shelley, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So tell us how long you've been in business for yourself. There must be a story over here. You seem to be very passionate about the work that you do in helping patients every day.
Well, thank you. And again, thanks for having me. So I started my own practice in 1991. So in July, it'll be 25 years.
Congratulations. That's exciting. And have you always been in practice on your own, or did you have an early start working for one of the big guys?
No, I really didn't. I wanted to. Back in 1991, academic jobs were difficult to get. And I thought I would be running a residency program. And there were not many of those spots. So I had 2 young kids at the time, and somebody said, why don't you just open up something near your house? You can go home at lunch, see your kids. And I was like, I'll give it a try.
So I want to talk about the important work that you're doing in helping patients every single day in a moment. But what I'm fascinated by is somebody with your background, with the medical background, with obviously your MD, but you're a businesswoman. You're an entrepreneur. You work hard every single day. I'm sure you have the benefits of owning a business, of being able to go home for lunch if you need to. But you also, I have a feeling, have a little bit of the stress that comes along with running a busy office. Tell us how that experience of the business person has been.
Yeah, it's been an evolution. I didn't know what I was doing at all at the beginning. When I first started in 1991, I hired one woman. Her name was Linda. And I said, how about I do the doctor stuff and you do the rest of the stuff? And that was how I started for about probably the first 6 months. And
I know we were put in touch by our good friends over at Tandem HR. It sounds like you're a believer in the business of outsourcing.
Yeah, I'm every day a little bit more.
I can imagine. That's great. So tell us about the work of the Dermatology Associates of LaGrange. Tell us about what you do every day.
Well, I'd say there are probably 3 different parts to our practice. The first and most important is always going to be the medical practice. So we take care of patients. We do full-body skin exams. We diagnose skin cancer. We treat acne, psoriasis. We use very highly developed biologic drugs. So we use a lot of medications, and we take care of the medical practice will always be number 1.
That's great, but it sounds like there's quite a bit more, and there's offerings beyond just LaGrange and your local office.
Well, right now it's just in LaGrange. We can talk about that in a minute. But people want more. When people come in the door and they ask for something, I wanted to be able to have it. So probably about 10 or 15 years, the whole cosmetic dermatology world really became important. And even one of my good friends, who I've quoted many times, said, if I had cancer, you would do everything for me, but I want my face to look better, and I want you to be the one to do it. So I listened.
That's incredible. That's fascinating, and obviously you're doing great work helping people feel good, and aside for dealing with important ailments such as cancer, but it doesn't need to be. You look bad in the process, so you should feel good about what you're doing every single day. So tell us about how things have evolved. I know you have some exciting news coming up in the office soon with some growth, I understand.
Right. So what I have learned is you can't stay one size. I didn't have to read it in the book. I just lived it. And so as I would get bigger, I would have to solve I would need to get bigger. And so I either would hire another person, then I didn't have enough space for the next person, then I have to expand my space. So just for an example, my very first office had 2 exam rooms. I moved across to a different medical building. It had 4 exam rooms, then 6, then 9, then 11. Now we have 17 exam rooms.
Wow, yeah. What growth. That's exciting. That's tremendous. So what's next at Dermatology Associates of LaGrange?
Well, we are hiring a new doctor. He's going to start in July. And if things go well, I'd like to open a second location.
That's really exciting. Mm-hmm. And LaGrange is home to you as well?
One town away, Western
One town
Springs.
away. So you still get to make it home to lunch occasionally, although I have a feeling with running a busy office, it probably doesn't happen as often.
Say that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
And you know what? My youngest is 17, so nobody's really crying for me at home anymore.
Oh gosh. So your sleeping bag is at the office. I understand how that goes. Tell us for our business owners that are listening to Get Down to Business today, what is the one bit of advice that you have for them? My dad always told me that it's all widgets. It doesn't matter whether it's medical or legal or accounting, that essentially if you get it, then you get it, and you could succeed in business. What has been that lesson
easy.
for you?
All relationships. It's all about relationships with the right people.
Relationships. And when did you discover that? Did you know that on day one in business?
Not at all. So some of the people I had relationships weren't right, and you have to be willing to recognize it and make changes, and they're hard. It's hard to recognize that you've sometimes made a mistake, but people come and they go, and, it's not always the right person, and that comes for everything, whether it's someone working in the office as an entry-level position, whether it's somebody that maybe you're outsourcing and you realize that they're not doing the job I wanted.
And, of course, patients, too.
Patients have tended to be pretty great.
That's
I
good.
have to say, I can think of, I don't know if I'm just in the right field for my personality. I would say maybe there's one time a year that somebody pushes a button for me. I really do. I can just take myself out of my own issues and just try to be there and give them what they need.
That's tremendous. That's good for you. As I promised later on in the program, we're going to be talking about customer service. And one of the lessons that I learned early on is that customers are everybody that walks into your office, whether it's your coworkers, your staff, certainly visitors, vendors are important as well. But everybody are your customers, everybody who walks in every single day. And it's important to realize that experience has to be fantastic. So it sounds like that's something that you live, but you love it as well. That's certainly a big part of your operation at Dermatology Associates of LaGrange. Once again, we're talking with Dr. Shelley Halper, who has a growing office at Dermatology Associates of LaGrange, a new doctor coming on board in July. So once again, walk us through the products and the services that are provided at the office.
All right. So I started by saying we're primarily medical. That will always be important. It takes a lot of years to become a doctor and a lot of years to become a dermatologist. And people may or may not realize it's probably still the most difficult residency to get. So people who become dermatologists have put in a lot of effort. So we have medical services. We talked a little bit about it. Full body exams, skin cancer diagnosis, skin cancer surgery. But the cosmetics are a lot of fun, and everybody could look better, and everybody feels better when you look better. It's a true feedback.
So Skin Medica, what is that?
Oh, that's one of the product lines that we sell. They do a great job in the science of skincare. People can go anywhere looking for skincare products, but if you don't understand the science, what does it mean if there's a growth factor? What does it mean to change the epidermis? What is a retinol really doing? Then you're going to get serviced by somebody at a counter at Nordstrom's.
Of
And they're not
course.
going to have the background to really understand.
And your office, your staff, you demystify the process so people can make that decision, even when it comes to those the dermatology products as well, which sounds fascinating. So once again, Dr. Shelley Halper, we're actually running out of time, but you taught me a lot today, not just about the world of dermatology and the subject matter expert that you have become in your industry. I know that you have you've been awarded quite a few accolades, and you're well regarded in your field. I believe you were the board president of the local association of dermatologists.
That's correct, Joe. President of Chicago Derm Society.
Congratulations, and certainly it sounds like you have a growing office, but you also taught us a thing or two about relationships. So, Shelley, if you don't mind, tell us how our listeners can get a hold of your office.
I think the best way is to look on our website, www.dermlagrange.com, and then you can see the doctors, the other providers, and all our information.
Fantastic. dermlagrange.com. After the break, we are going to be chatting with some folks also making a difference in the Chicagoland business community. You don't want to miss it. You're listening to the show all about small business jobs and entrepreneurship. Shelley, thanks so much for joining us. You're listening to Get Down to Business.
How can you